Have you ever seen a meeting like this for men in the history of the church in Uganda? We've been around for some time, but there's never been a meeting like this.
Have you ever wondered how Phaneroo conferences have evolved into what they are today? And if there was a singular event that pioneered all others? These gatherings share common traits that have shaped their character. So what could they be? After careful consideration, I believe I have the answer. This is from the congregation, and today we will take an in-depth look at I Can See, the benchmark for all other Phaneroo events. Recently, I came across a message sent through official Phaneroo channels regarding vendor registration requirements for Phaneroo events. One section of the message stated, due to their anticipated high volume of applications, only shortlisted candidates shall be contacted. This got me thinking about Phaneroo's quality assurance standards. What level of organization goes into each event? And how did we reach this point? What creates the archetypal Phaneroo event? Now, I identified several essential elements that define a Phaneroo event. I'm excluding accessories like t-shirts, car stickers, and alike, since they don't contribute to this discussion. Also, Apostle Grace and the rest of the pastoral team are typically present. I won't include them neither. Additionally, I wouldn't categorize the anniversary and night of prayer as regular open days. Upon closer inspection, these two events follow the Phaneroo Thursday service template, just on a larger scale. Now that we've established the parameters, here's what's included. Number 1, the press conference. Number 2, sponsors. Number 3, activities. Number 4, guests. While I'm sure you might think of more elements, I think that these fit the core. The event that exemplified these core values at the highest level was Men Gather Season 1, with the theme, I Can See. Perhaps I am biased, but this event was truly unprecedented. It made waves not only in Phaneroo but throughout the country. While there isn't much publicly available footage from that day, the sessions featured a senior female member of the church providing guidance on men's grooming. A seasoned pastor and a friend of the ministry delivered a wholesome message that addressed every aspect of a man's life. Nothing was left to chance. I haven't mentioned the sermon yet.
It is a big deal,
because it deserves its own video. This event pioneered many firsts, such as icebreakers and games, structured morning sessions focused on productivity, and afternoon talks. The first exhibition during a Phaneroo event was held. Custom branded notebooks. The activities encouraged fellowship. All of this contrasted beautifully with the typical congregation experience. By this I mean you got to see more dimensions to the man next to you, his strengths, his knowledge, his competitive spirit. We've seen this grow from simple games like arm wrestling to include activities like paintball. This is progress. I've categorized the guest speakers into two groups. We have orators. These are the ones with authority in their respective fields. We're talking careers, business, marriage, and preaching. Then we have the performers or interactors. Those are the instructors in the activities, the ones you interact with in the exhibition tent. The musicians and worship ministers are also positioned here. I remember having a session on personal hygiene. In consequent years, things like fashion and business came into play. Recently, the chief guest has been the worship minister. But in the year of I Can See, there were several local artists that presented. It has been developed to include the introduction of international artists as well. Recency bias has me wanting Dancing Oyekan to return for the third time in 12 months, but Moses Bliss is still my favorite of these advances. Links to my coverage of both videos are in the description. The guest speakers are always a treat, but the real trick, which we'll see in a bit, is how we get the public to care.
The purpose of this press conference is to...
I cannot remember Phaneroo having a press conference for I Can See. Maybe one of those things adopted along the way, but the fact that they were partners and exhibitors for me makes an argument for it being present that year. I love those 10 to 30 minutes. It is like a teaser and adds a bit of sophistication and swagger to the event. My favorite was Clap for Jesus. It was absolutely priceless. And in the spirit of sophistication and swagger, the next point takes it to another level. Lastly, cars, exhibitors. The number of companies from various industries that showed up to enlarge what a man's eye can see was incredible. Now, the awareness one gets from presentations, from schools to insurers, from tools and appliances to pool tables and grooming. Not a single man-associated stone was left unturned. And I remember Spear Motors having its presentation. Honestly, it's the only one that I can remember vividly. But can you really blame me? Now, I Can See was in Uma Multipurpose Hall. Nearly a decade later, a tent the size of Uma Multipurpose Hall was erected at Kololo Airstrip for the sheltering of these exhibitors. Need I say any more? In business, we have something we call the minimum value proposition. This is the least amount of satisfaction you have to provide your customers for them to purchase your goods or services. These are vital. These are essential. This is what you need to present. When Phaneroo is asking for your time, even though it is for your benefit, one would not only need to see the value Phaneroo is offering, but also appreciate it for repetitive attendance to be possible. And I think I found the right mix, the right balance in I Can See. Now, Phaneroo's MVP has been and will always be the sermon. And again, the crown jewel of I Can See was not Mercedes-Benz, I can assure you. But the things to build around men's conferences are just as important. And I believe these were fleshed out in the first two editions of Men Gather. And with their development, it consequently changed how we view Phaneroo events. I've had a hard time differentiating I Can See and Men Gather Season 2. However, one thing that really stood out for me was a sermon, I Can See. And you can gather my thoughts on it in the next video.